Welcome back to another episode of Stay on Target. I'm your host, Dustin. Thanks for tuning in tonight. We got a great show planned for all of you guys here. So let's get to it. Are two heads better than one? I think so. Me too. So let's jump into the rundown. We got question of the week. Lots of Holonet news coming at you. Including co-head Lucasfilm leaders, Luke fades away, Andor on the rise with Star Wars Theory, giving some praise, and I can't wait to talk to you guys about that. And we'll finish things off with a Q&A time. We already got some questions loaded, but if you guys have more questions, fire them off in the chat, especially when we get to that time. I mean, you can do it now as well, and we'll try to record it, but send it then, send it later. Keep it secret, keep it safe. All right, well, speaking of beautiful heads, let's meet a few of the heads that make up Stay on Target. Dan, the pilot. What's up, Dan?
What's up? I'm ahead.
We're
ahead of the curve. How you guys doing?
We're all floating heads here.
We're just floating heads. That's all we are.
Floating heads, yeah. And last but definitely not least, we have the one, the only, the lovely fact checker.
I am truly a floating head.
You really are. Out of all of us, you kind of
embrace the float.
Yep.
You embrace the float. It does look like you're floating on water almost.
Yeah.
Is it relaxing?
Sometimes.
It looks very relaxing. I want to float on water.
Beautiful scenery.
Is it one of those immersion tanks where like you're trying to remember something, or it's like what are those called? Where it's like the salt and buoyancy, and it keeps you. It's like a deprivation
or back to tank.
No, not deprivation. Sensory thing.
Sensory deprivation. Yeah,
it's weird. It's what they did on Stranger Things. That's what I'm thinking.
Whoa, okay.
Sorry, I don't mean to call
it can be whatever you want it to be. How about that?
I appreciate that, fact checker. Well, you look peaceful and
okay,
floaty.
Floaty.
Speaking of floaters, let's keep floating on down the road. All right, who's with us tonight? Speaking of floaters, we got the Gonkers with us. Wow, no. I wasn't going to say that, and then you put it in my head.
No, you said it.
Well, I love the Gonkers, and let's all just pretend we're floating down a river as disembodied heads.
Oh, my goodness.
Horrible.
This is
Gonks are
going off.
basically all heads. Anyway, who's with us? Save me from myself, people.
Mhm.
Save me from myself.
Yeah. Well, we've got Skylark in the chat.
What's up, Skylark?
She said it's like Dustin's at a king's banquet,
I
at
know.
a banquet table. They're liking the new setup.
Yeah.
KG called it out.
It is
Nice
quite
studio
nice.
change up.
You know what it really feels like? It feels like I'm alone, first of all. And second of all, it feels like I'm in like a scene from The Godfather. You know, it's like,
yeah.
I bet you're wondering why I gathered you all here today. To talk about Star Wars. I mean, that's why we gather. But
Yeah.
You are.
anyway, I have a gun ready to go too.
Whoa,
so
whoa.
Look, it's
The
Godfather. It's Star Wars Godfather.
Classic.
I'm gonna make you an offer you can't refuse. Says
No.
Jabba.
Looking good. We can land a plane on that thing.
We could.
Yeah, you could. Like a Lego Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, maybe. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
Pew 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 pew. Or who else is with
Yes.
us?
So yeah, like I said, KG.
KG,
She
keeping it
is
G-rated.
in the chat, and Tamerkins is also here.
What's up,
Saying,
Tamerkins?
Thought I was the only one wondering about the long table, but I like it.
It makes me feel more important
Oh, nice.
than what I actually am.
OKG did recommend calling it a blaster.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I forgot about that.
Yep.
Sorry, YouTube overlords, AI, whatever.
Mhm.
Blaster.
Mhm. And Tamerkins also said, "Embrace the float" is my summer slogan now.
Ooh, yeah.
Embrace the
that's a good
float.
I
one.
like it. You did lead off with that question, that poll going on, fact checker. So
Yeah.
that just works, man.
Yeah, a few of us don't know what summer is, that it's summer yet.
Sometimes we stay off target so much we hit the target.
Ooh, I
Like
like
I
it.
didn't know you were gonna ask that question, and then you did, and then we floated, and then back into summer. Actually, I think it just takes our Gonkers to pull it back to the lineup.
Yeah, they
Let's
do.
give credit where credit's due. All right.
Speaking of, so
Yes.
yeah, we also have Sonia in the chat.
What's up, Sonia?
And Matt jumped in, and I asked if his
Matt.
ears were ringing because we were just talking about
were
him
talking
behind the
about Matt.
scenes, and he said always.
Always.
But then we also
Oh.
have Red Six Down
What's up, Red Six?
in the chat saying,
love it.
they floated in.
Let's
saying-
go.
Saying Red Six standing by.
Ah,
Classic.
I love it, dude. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Blasters up, man.
Yeah, blasters up, people.
Yeah, and just said I'm liking blasters at lightsabers this point, thanks to Andor and Skeleton Crew.
Yes.
Yes.
I think Andor's probably one of the best proponents of blasters in some ways, except for
Probably.
the AK in the first one. I do have to mention that was a miss,
How was
but
this?
the other blasters were awesome, and there were so many of them. Anyway, sorry,
Yeah.
but yeah, thanks for jumping in, Red Six,
Red
and I'm glad you're standing by. We might need to call on you
Yeah.
to take out the Death Star. Stay on target. It works. Come on.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I get
fact
it.
checker,
But
save
yeah,
me
also Hannah jumped in.
What's up,
so
Hannah?
good to
What's up,
see
Hannah?
Moderators on target.
Moderators on target, baby.
hanging out.
Good to, man. We got so many good people here tonight with us.
I
Yes,
know.
we
I am
do. Let me
pumped.
fix these things here. Driving me crazy a little bit. I don't know why they have a mind of their own sometimes.
I know it's so weird.
Yeah, the
It's
chat
all good. We're
pop-outs.
there. We got the pop out, so I want to see
It's-
what they're saying.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a live
always
stream.
fun.
You never know what's
And
gonna
then,
happen.
okay, we just had Tanro jump in.
What's
Good to
up?
see you.
What's
How
up?
you doing?
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said it better than me.
Thanks for jumping in. Appreciate it, man. Well, keep on letting us know if you guys jump in and
And Night Sky just said hello there.
hello, General Kenobi. You got to do that. What's
Perfect.
up, Night Sky?
Got the
Thanks
whole
for jumping. Yeah,
Gonkers
we
The
got
back
the whole
together.
Gonkin crew
The
today.
summer is kicking off, baby, and I am ready to rock. So let's keep moving here. We got question of the week.
Can you speak Bocce?
Of course I can, sir. It's like a second language to me. I'm as
All right,
fluent in-
shut up. I'll take this.
Shut up, sir.
Luke!
Question of the week is: what character from Star Wars would you want to run Lucasfilm? Wrong answers only. No, I'm just joking. No. You give right answer. You can say any character from Star Wars. I thought this was apropos and pretty hilarious because immediately in my head it was like, who would I want to actually run Lucasfilm? It's such like a Inception feeling, like it's like a dream within a dream. Like
Yeah.
that wouldn't happen, obviously. 'Cause
No.
it would, like fictional character would be running a. I'm overthinking it. Dan, what is your answer?
I think Jar Jar.
That was my answer.
Well, it's just the first one that came to mind, and you go with your gut.
Oh, here we go.
Because if you don't, you're going to regret it, and I don't regret anything. Not if Misa running Lucasfilm is working for me. No, I think actually a better answer would be
No, you already peaked. That's peak.
there's no better answer, so that's it.
No,
I
sure.
win.
Yeah.
Jar Jar, take me home.
If you want, you can do it as follow up if you want.
No, I mean that's a funny answer, but there's probably a serious one deep down somewhere that makes real sense
Yeah.
for their wise tactical decisions and their financial savvy and
Right.
ability to listen to the fans. But for now, I'm just going to go Jar Jar because he's a man of the people.
Yeah.
He's a Gungan of the people.
He is a Gungan of the people, and he might accidentally make his way successful.
And he might actually be Darth Jar Jar, but I'm saying
Yeah.
regular Jar Jar, okay, people? I'm not saying...
Not Darth Jar Jar.
No.
Not a touch of Darth Jar Jar.
Probably not.
Just a pinch.
Just a pinch.
with your pinches.
with my pinches. Yeah.
What about you, fact checker? What is your answer?
Yeah, well, I was going to say Jar Jar, ironically as well, but no,
Now
I
you
got to
can't.
change it. Yeah, I gotta
Legally obligated to not say that.
be
now.
different than Dan.
That's right. Don't forget it.
Never forget it.
So I think I'll go with Lando because he
Ooh.
ran the whole Cloud City. Maybe he struggled
it.
a little bit when the Empire came floating in, but he did a good job.
That was kind of out of his control, though. I had to make
Exactly.
peace with that a long time ago when I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know, whenever Lando betrayed your heroes, it was tough.
It was tough.
Like you're like, I really like this guy, and then he betrays.
But you could tell it broke him too.
Yeah, but
He-
they played it so
Mhm.
well that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
even still, for a little while there, you were kind of like, as a kid, I was like, that dirtbag. I would have never done. Just not
Yeah.
understanding the weight of responsibility and stuff like that. But anyway, that's a great call because even in Legends, he goes on to do a lot
Ooh,
more as well.
I
So
didn't know that.
yeah.
Nice.
Great answer. For me, I don't know. I kept kind of bouncing back and forth. Do I go with like a rebel leader? Do I go with I almost thought Palps, but we already basically have a Palps in there.
With Jar Jar?
Yeah, no. Papa Palps. Although he was very goal oriented,
Mhm.
he would want to be successful in everything that he did. But I think what I'm going to actually go with is Admiral Akbar. I'm going to go Admiral Akbar on this one. Just because I like Admiral Akbar and he can see traps coming a mile away. So I think he would dodge a lot of problems
Mhm.
that have happened in Star Wars.
Yeah.
And he's a tactician. He's all
Mhm.
about results again. So if something's
Mhm.
not working by the numbers, by the books, then how can we alter? How can we alter the deal? Right. Yeah. So how can he change things up to make it more successful? Anyway,
Mhm.
that's why I'm going Admiral Akbar. But I see a lot of the Gonkers have some fire ones in here. So fire away at me, fact checker. What are they saying?
Okay, yeah, some good ones. So Skylark said, starting at the top, definitely Obi-Wan, fair and balanced.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Like it.
The only problem with some of the like military type is Star Wars being a creative property, like full of like artists and stuff like that. I do feel like there would be some challenge there when it's, you have to have some, belief in somebody to accomplish that goal without
Mhm.
seeing the end result. So I don't know. It's hard to run it all just by the numbers because
Sure.
I do feel like that's kind of what Disney's been doing as it is. So
Mhm.
anyway, I don't mean to talk in between. Who else?
Okay, yeah, and then let's see. Tamerkin said Ahsoka for sure. Hondo is a
Mm.
close second, though.
Oh yeah, Hondo.
Isn't that interesting?
That's a really good one. I do like one Hondo baby.
Mhm.
That was good to Merkins. Firing from the hip.
He would bring definitely a certain flair to
Okay.
it, but so would Ahsoka.
Yeah.
She's pretty wise.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say probably not, from the Ahsoka series, but maybe from like Rebels.
Yes, exactly.
Ahsoka.
That's I'm sure who she means.
Yeah, no, I'm teasing. All right, who else? What else?
Sonia said I'd go with Rey and Din Djarin and Grogu. So
Yeah, that would be a good one.
multiple heads there too.
Nice.
Let's go.
Multiple
I like
heads.
it.
We're all about multiple heads here tonight.
And then Red Six Down said, I think Galen Erso would be a good choice. Now the intricacies of the system can appease everyone.
Oh.
Yeah, I like that. I like Galen. That's a smart answer.
Mhm.
Nice job, Red 6.
Yeah, very good.
I
answer.
fully approve of that one. That's kind of answer I
Mhm.
was looking for. So
Red 6 wasn't just standing by; he's
He's
firing.
firing.
Yeah, he is.
That's right.
I love it. Okay, and then we also have, oh shoot, it just jumped on me.
Oh, don't jump.
Oh, okay,
K-
KG.
It says Cassian.
Yes, thank you.
He's fair but willing to take risks. That is a
Mhm.
good point. That's a
Mhm.
really good point.
Yeah.
And still has a moral compass, kind of, except for he shoots first and asks questions later. But he's doing things for the rebellion, for the good of the
Mhm.
rebellion, which might just end up being Star Wars if he was fully committed to Star Wars being successful.
Mhm. Yeah.
I'm justifying everybody's. I'm so sorry. All
it.
right, keep going.
Well, Matt's being funny. He said Jar Jar sure called it right with those Palpatine emergency powers.
Right? That's true. He does
Mhm.
fumble his way into success, fully giving the most evil person in the galaxy full control of the galaxy.
Yeah, Jar Jar knows where it's at.
He knows. He knows where he knows how to get things done and who's
Yeah.
going to get them done.
Yeah.
That's right.
But a more, I think, legit answer from Matt. He's saying I would pick Mon Mothma.
Oh yeah,
That
I
is
know
a great
that's what I was
answer,
kind of
too.
going
Oh,
back
for
and forth
sure.
on, but yeah,
Mhm.
that is a really good one.
Or
'cause
Bale.
Bale, yes. Don't bail on Bale. Yeah, that's a good one.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely.
What-
Let's
like
see.
it.
Oh, we got more here. Firing
Okay.
off. Zaryamoto says Qui-Gon Jinn. Am I skipping ahead?
Go right
If I
ahead.
missed one, let me know.
Nope.
Fact checker. Qui-Gon Jinn. That's a great one. Zaryamoto. We got
Yeah.
Hannah following up. Mon Mothma would be awesome. Definitely. Yeah. The Gonkers says Skylark. Yes, the Gonkers
Aw,
should
yes.
be in charge
There
of
we
Star
go.
Wars.
That's-
Lucasfilm.
Yep.
Good
Oh, my
answer.
goodness.
That might be the right answer.
Did I miss any fact checker? Correct me if I
Um,
missed any. I
No,
don't
well,
think so. I think we got 'em.
Ben Bravo just said Thrawn. He is tactical and very smart.
Ooh, and loves art.
Oh,
I can't believe I didn't think of that one. Perfect answer. You win a Wookiee cookie, Ben. Bravo. Everybody wins a Wookiee cookie here.
That's
Let's be
right.
real.
Everybody wins one?
Everybody wins one.
Nice.
You got to make it yourself, though. Sorry, that's the catch.
That's true. You got to bake them yourself. You
We
don't-
can't make them for you.
That's right.
We could maybe send a recipe. No, okay, don't worry.
You should
about it.
send the cookie dough, like, prepackaged cookie
Ooh,
dough.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's
we'll figure it out.
That'd be hilarious. That's a good business idea.
I
dude. We'll have to
know.
follow
We'll
that up
figure it
later.
out. Yeah.
All right.
oh, okay.
Anything else?
Tanro said, "Oh, is this a question? This is a question."
Oh, maybe we'll save it for the Q&A time,
All right.
Tanner, unless it's
Yeah.
apropos to now. But
It may be pepper po.
apropos.
I don't know.
Poe
What do you think, fact checker?
You
Go,
think?
yeah, might as well go ahead.
We're going for it.
Okay. You want to read it off?
How did Anakin, says Tanro, feel about the Chosen One prophecy after he turned to the dark side? Did it make him feel vindicated in what he did, or the opposite?
Oh, wow. Deep question firing off the
Not messing
gate.
around here.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, oh man, that is a deep question. That's tough. I'd say, I don't think he really cared about the Chosen One prophecy, or he was so taken by the dark side that he was convinced that going that route, the Sith route, was the route that the Chosen One was supposed to take. Because he was fully convinced that the Jedi were evil and that they had done wrong and that there needed to be a change in the galaxy and that he was the only one who could do it. And that's why he followed Papa Palps. And with the two of them combined, they did almost fulfill the prophecy. And in a twisted way, the rule of two also does kind of bring balance. Because if they took out all the rest of the Jedi, basically, then that's kind of balance in a twisted way. So, yeah, deep question there. I think he was just fully convinced that what he was doing, no matter what he did, he was the chosen one. And he did technically fulfill that prophecy in the end by taking out, well, spoilers, Papa Palps. Some would argue that Luke is actually the chosen one, but I still think it was Anakin.
Yeah, and KG.
Did it make him feel vindicated in what he did, or the opposite? I think he still felt. Well, it depends on when in the timeline you're talking about Darth Vader. Are you talking about after he realizes that he's still good and gets rid of Papa Palps? I don't think necessarily felt vindicated then for what he did, but during, I think he felt fine. He felt vindicated, although there was obviously still a small part of him nagging at him for a long time that there was still good in him, So. Deep question, great question, love it. And if you guys have any other follow-ups to that, Let me know.
Yeah, KG said, yeah, Anakin was convinced he was restoring peace in the galaxy.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Nope. KG is on the money.
Yep, for sure. And then Oscar jumped in
What's up, Oscar?
with a, are you ready for this, Dan?
I'm ready.
With a gonk.
With a gonk.
Gonk.
Just a singular gonk.
I
That's
love
what you
it.
get.
That's
Yeah.
a
Singular
What's
gonk.
up, you
What's up?
gonker, Oscar? Thanks for jumping in,
That's right.
guys.
And
Thanks,
then,
Oscar.
Yeah. Ben also said Thrawn would know how to read the audience. He would assess their needs and sell them what they want.
That's
Haha.
Perfect. Yes, exactly.
Mhm,
Great
mhm.
point, Ben. Exactly.
And then Tamerkins and KG, everyone is liking the slice and bake Wookiee cookies.
Slice and bake.
Or
We're doing
Thrawn
it.
cookies. Yeah.
Oh, Thrawn.
More
Yeah.
Thrawn cookies.
We can do a whole brand here,
Yeah.
Dan. Let's do this.
Work-
Working on it. Working on it.
All right, coming to you soon.
It all
Oh,
starts
boy.
with an idea.
And it all starts. You win people over through their stomachs.
That's
Am I
right.
True.
That's for sure.
And then Carla Hawkins jumped in the chat as well.
What's
What's up, Carla? Thank you for jumping in.
Mhm. And then Hannah said Aralani would be good because she knows politics and Thrawn does not.
Mhm.
Shoot.
Yeah, no, that's right.
And
Okay.
Thrawn doesn't know
He
politics.
doesn't know politics as
Okay,
well.
okay, sorry.
He's so tactical that
Yeah.
he could kind of care less about politics. He's more about results.
Got it.
So, yes, Aralani is more the,
Politician.
tactical politician?
Maybe.
I don't
Whatever
know.
you say.
Whatever you say, that works. All right, we got much to see though. We got to keep moving on here, but great
Mhm.
answers, everybody. Thank you guys for submitting that. Good stuff. All right. Well, next up on the docket, we got. But before we do, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell your frenemies about us, so we can continue to grow this wonderful community together. Because with all of us together, we make Star Wars. Butter. Okay, I was hoping somebody else was good. Oh, the butter. Oh, it was the two heads. I missed it. Oh, you were on top.
No, I wasn't. I thought of
Butter.
it after it was too. It was already done.
And if you're new here, butter means better. We just like to say that because again, you win people over through their stomachs.
That's right. And we like butter. I mean,
Butter is my favorite.
who hasn't put too much butter on their toast? Have you ever put too much butter on your toast?
I don't think that's possible.
That's what I'm saying. Is it possible? Is the question of the week? No, I'm just kidding.
That's the food on target question.
I don't know.
There's been a lot of food.
It's possible, but
It is.
it's very difficult to do.
Yes, for sure. All right. Well, on to the next segment of the show. We do have some Holonet news.
Everything's under control. We're fine. We're all fine here now. Thank you. How are you?
All right. First up on Holonet news, we have Dave Filoni and Carrie Beck. They may be the next co-heads at Lucasfilm. And the Hollywood Reporter was reporting on this. Some interesting insight and I've heard a lot of different speculation about this. But first off, what do you guys think about this? Do you think this is the route they're actually going to go, or are they just putting feelers out there and trying to get them to take over by using the trades? So some people are saying that potentially this is a KK idea plant that she wants those two to become in charge because then she can still be there as a creative whatever and help guide them. And then they could still kind of be under her control. That's what some people are speculating on. I don't know if that's true or not. It kind of makes sense because it's promoting from within, but at the same time, I don't know if Disney's going to do that. Like at this point, we might need a fresh leader in there to kind of turn this ship around because, to be honest, Star Wars still, I know it's been doing great with Andor, but it's still not in the calmest of seas heading towards victory. So what do you guys think? Do you think this will happen? Dan, what about you? Do you think this is going to happen?
I don't know. I think it might happen actually, because from a business perspective, they already know the company.
Yeah.
And I think they've been seeing more of the inside workings, Dave getting not just doing the animation, but being involved with the TV stuff, live action, and maybe the film side of it. I don't know. I think he learned a lot from Favreau. That doesn't mean he can run an entire company.
Right.
But I think him and Carrie Beck are probably they're the next ones in line, and if you did change up the job descriptions you wouldn't maybe necessarily have a president Dave Filoni, but right? Isn't KK like president?
Lucasfilm president Kathleen.
Do we
Kennedy.
need a specific Lucasfilm president? I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. We could have co-heads.
KG says Dave creative, Carrie business.
Yep, that's the idea behind it.
So is that what everybody's thinking?
And the funny thing is, Dave he's already the creative head at
Right.
Yeah.
Lucasfilm. So it would basically just be a change of title for them. And I don't even know what that title would be necessarily because he's already the creative head. So she would just become the business head, or how would that work?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, creative head in charge. What they just have to define the job descriptions.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't think either of them. I think either of. It's like anybody could do better than KK, based on the track record that all of the flops.
Yeah, maybe, but they've been a part of it. That's the other thing, though.
I know,
That's
but they're
the other
not in.
side of
But
this.
they don't take the fall. If you lose, the top takes the fall.
Yeah, but has she been training them in her ways for 10 plus years?
I don't know.
That's
I don't
the
know.
thing.
I don't know. But then now it's up to them to make the decision.
Right.
They've seen what doesn't work, maybe what does work. And when they're in charge, they're not looking at anybody to say, is this okay? Can I do this? Is that all right?
That's a good point.
Like, you got to make the call, buddy. You're the one at the top. And heads are going to roll if you screw it up. Remember what happened last time they tried this or that and the other? So
I just hope they're wise enough to do that and to
Yeah.
make those changes.
I just
and
don't-
not to be as reactionary. I feel like was the problem with KK. She was so reactionary and changed so much so
Yeah.
last minute without a clear direction of where they wanted to go. And even creatives came in and were like, why don't we make the Mandoverse with Favreau? I think he was hyped. I think he was going to make the Mandoverse.
yeah.
And I think she came in and put the kibosh on that. And
Kibosh.
he was like, he was gonna do what the Marvel Cinematic Universe was gonna do in his own little Disney Plus way, but she just tanked that whole idea. So yeah, to your point, Dan, I do think that when you're in charge, you can make those decisions. Technically, she was in charge, so the buck stops with her. And unfortunately, she made a lot of reactionary, but it could have been. We don't know how much Disney is involved in a lot of this, though, too, to be fair in some ways. But yes, anything is better than KK.
It's true.
at
They
this
still
point.
have to answer to Disney. You're right. So
Yeah.
that's true. I don't know. It's a mess.
It is a mess.
It's a mess. I would never want that position in 1,000 billion years. I'd rather be a creative that was given blank checks every day to just go create.
You'd rather be a Favreau.
Yeah,
in some
just like
ways.
give me the freedom and we're going to go make something special, but don't bug me until I'm done and then judge me on my merit as to whether the thing is good.
Yeah, see, I would take over Lucasfilm just because I love Star Wars so much that I would do anything I possibly could to make it successful again and get it back to what truly made Star Wars great, but also pave a path for the future and try and get people who are excited and talented and get
Yeah.
rid of the people that are pushing other ideologies that shouldn't be there, trying to push those ideologies. It should be kind of fan-led in some ways at this point because the fans know what the fans want.
That's true.
Did
But-
you read Archangel Epics?
No, I did not.
They
What's-
jumped in the chat and said, "You
What?
guys should run it."
What's up?
What's up, Archangel? No, he
Don't tempt us.
Archangel Epics should be running it.
Yeah, that's
I don't
a
know.
good
You
answer.
should be running it. It's
Yes.
that kind of. You need the kind of person in there that can truly put together a rock and roll team
Yes.
around you.
Yeah.
So you make yourself not the hero, and
yes.
I
Make
think
your team
you
the
make
hero.
the team
Mhm.
incredible, and they're like, go for it, man. Have fun, run with it, and the fans are going to be the fans, and their fans are always going to argue about one thing or the other. But put the best people around you that understand what's going to make Disney money, because that's all they care about, and what's
It's
going
a
to.
balance. It's got to be almost the perfect balance between
Yeah.
those things.
But
so.
Disney just wants money because they're the company that
Right.
owns the company.
bottom line,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
They're like, give us the money. Okay, so we can deliver your money. But we know what the fans want, and we know how to redeem certain things that fell apart in the sequels. And you know what I mean? Because that's your test subject is the sequels.
yeah.
And then your test subject on the other side is Andor. So you're like, all right, well, this one worked and this one didn't.
Right.
Which way should we go?
yeah. How can we course
How
correct?
can we do something that fans love, that gets us critical acclaim and also turns us money?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not rocket science. If you
Yeah.
put a team together that can create stuff like that.
I think the biggest miss was the fact that they thought that the sequel trilogy was successful because technically, monetarily wise, it was semi-successful.
Yeah.
But you couldn't miss at that point. That was the problem. Like you couldn't miss. So then I
No.
feel like
It
Disney
got
was
lucky.
like, "Oh, okay, yeah, you did make us money on this, so we'll give you free reign basically from now on to do what you want." And then that was the mistake because to be successful, you got to give the fans what they want
Mhm.
and continue to grow that fan base. And then with that, through word of mouth, then the money comes in. But the problem is, ideology got in there and ruined everything.
Yeah.
In my opinion. And then it just became lackluster, and it wasn't even people that loved Star Wars and wanted to take it in a cool direction that people
Yeah.
wanted to see, didn't respect the lore, did not do their homework on a lot of things, and gave us subpar material that's got us to the point where the brand is flailing at this point. It's trying to stay
Mhm.
alive. People aren't as excited. That's just the truth, unfortunately. Now we're still excited because
Except
we love
for
Star
Andor.
Wars. And Andor's been minus a few things. That's the thing.
And Mandalorian movie is going to tell you a lot because if that turns out like $4 billion,
yeah,
that'd be insane.
I don't
But-
think that's going to happen.
Even if it turned
yeah.
$1 billion, then they'll be like, maybe we should make more Mando movies.
Right.
Maybe we should make more Star Wars movies in general. That would prove that, like, okay, there's still an audience to go watch these movies and make tons of money.
Yeah.
If we can make it halfway decent.
There's always going to be an audience with Star Wars.
Right. So they need to churn
But-
out more movies.
Yeah, I am glad that they're getting back to that. But fact checker, I did want to get your opinion on this as well from a bit of a business standpoint. What you would think might be good when it comes to the business side, especially. I think this is probably where you would have some good ideas for them. If you think Carrie Beck.
I don't know enough about her. I'd have to dig into her a little
Do you
bit
like?
more.
Here's this. Do you
Yeah.
like the idea of a creative head and a business head? I find that two heads, I think, would become problems.
Yeah, no,
in my personal opinion.
I don't think you shouldn't have two presidents or supposedly two people leading the company. You need one person leading the company, and then you can have directors of different departments that you take all their feedback, but one person needs to be leading the charge.
Right.
Otherwise, it just gets too messy, too complicated, and nobody needs that. Then you lose focus really, really fast.
Yes.
So,
And there has to be a buck stops here person, right?
yes,
That's kind of the thing.
yes, absolutely.
That's what
Mhm.
George always was. And
Mhm.
under George's
Mhm.
guidance
Mhm.
and he did the business and he also did the creative side. He was kind of the
Yeah.
perfect combination of those two things and knew it was successful as well.
Yeah.
But he didn't always care about the money side of things. I think he cared more about innovation
Mhm.
and good storytelling because that's what he went to school for as well.
Mhm.
So that's why it was the perfect combo. Now, if you're going to split that into two people, I guess it could work, but yeah, it's going to be challenging for. All right, who are we talking to here? Like when you have multiple bosses, it's like,
Mhm.
who do I need to talk to about this thing? And are they communicating between the two of them? That's the other
Yeah.
thing because that can become
Yeah.
a problem.
Yeah.
I would think as a big corporate company or whatever, they'd have some good structures in place to
Yeah, you
hopefully
hope.
streamline that. But of course, I have no idea. And just no matter what, yeah, it's a little concerning that they can't pick one person. They might need two to run it. I mean,
Unless KK's like, see, you need two people to replace just one of me.
yeah, no, it kind of shows a lack of leadership
Yeah.
or vision for the future if they're torn between two people running it, even if they do have a good relationship, which gosh, you need.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you're saying, George did so good himself running it as a creative. Dave could maybe do a really good job. I don't know. Do you try that for a season? Interim, give it a shot. I don't know.
It's complicated. You're right.
See, I would trust, honestly, I would trust Favreau over Dave still.
Well, but
just
he's
for the
not
fact,
in the running.
I know he's not. I'm just saying because of what Dan said about being able to
Mhm.
put a good team together.
Yeah.
That's what I've always seen with Favreau. I feel like he knows
Mhm.
how to put a good team together and raise everybody up with him. Like
Yeah.
he's the captain of a ship, but he's bringing his crew right along with him and doing a great job praising everybody at the same time.
Yeah,
So,
but Dave had to put some people together with Rebels and all of that
Yeah,
to make
that's a good point.
that happen. Hopefully he has some good experience with that. I would
Yeah.
assume. Again, I don't know enough about
And maybe with him,
Carrie.
being in charge. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off.
you're fine.
Maybe with him being in charge, he does get to make those ultimate decisions where he was may have been forced to put in some things that he didn't necessarily
Yeah,
agree
I've been
on.
pigeonholed
But
before.
yeah. So I don't know, but that's a good. Sorry, what were you saying about Carrie Beck?
Yeah, I just don't know enough about her. As a business kind of person myself, I would think, okay, try that for a time and let Dave run with the creative and stuff.
Yeah,
To get. So yeah, if she's good and knows what she's doing, let her be in charge, just to get Disney back on track and on a better path to success. Bring the fans back together.
Yeah.
Make money again a little bit. You kind of need that to keep things going.
yeah.
While Dave, does his thing creatively.
It's
But
just a unique.
that's maybe not a long-term solution unless they figure it out quickly. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's a challenge. Either way, whoever is in charge of Lucasfilm at this point has a huge challenge ahead of them to make it
Yes.
successful.
Mhm.
I don't know if you're ever going to get it back to where George Lucas had it, but I think you can come close,
Time will tell.
and
for
time will
sure.
tell. Yeah, that's the thing. So
It's just crazy, and the Gonkers are going.
yeah, the
bananas.
Gonkers.
know,
You
I
guys
know.
are sorry.
Lighting it up.
We'll get to you
I
guys.
But it's-
haven't read any of that.
No,
so yeah,
I
go
can.
ahead.
I'll just kind of plop them in here if you guys are cool.
Yeah,
with
do
that.
it. Yeah.
KG said, "Got to find the right talent." Like and how KK found Gilroy.
That's a good point.
By the way, Iñaki said, "Happy Independence Day from the Philippines." What's up,
Oh,
Iñaki?
what's up, Iñaki?
Yeah.
Happy future Independence Day.
Yeah, you're in the future.
Now that Andor is over, says Matt, there's only Filoni content and KK Starfighter movie in progress anyway.
Yeah.
So there's really not a lot.
There's not.
So there's kind of a blank canvas. You could say that all of the other companies creative are trying to do this right now with
I mean, technically,
DC's doing this. Marvel's trying to reinvent the wheel. Star Wars is kind of,
everything. Everything's floundering.
And then because the fan base is changing, you've got a lot of young people. You got a lot of people that love the prequels, and you've got fewer and fewer people around that are. They're all fans of the originals, but they're getting older. Maybe they're not as into any of the new stuff, so they don't really care. They've already checked out. So now
Yeah.
you're marketing to a whole new generation of youngins.
But that might have been missed if the original fans and the kids didn't want to show them the sequels.
Yeah.
And that's how Star Wars has always transferred. It's always been from parents showing their kids.
Well, I
in
hope
a
they
lot of ways.
didn't. I hope they didn't show them the sequels. Maybe.
I know.
And then they just watched certain good things on Disney Plus. Not obviously, maybe not Andor for the kids, but
Yeah.
I don't think biggest problem was ideology, says KG. It was rushing stuff out for streaming content.
I think it was both. I'm going to be honest on that, but you're welcome to that opinion as well. Obviously,
Yeah.
we welcome all opinions here. I think for me, it was a part of it. I mean, it
Yeah.
definitely took me out of a lot of stuff.
It
So
felt
that's why
like-
for me, it was ideology, but it was also definitely a rush. That's definitely a key ingredient. They definitely rushed things to
There
try
was a
and make
common
money.
thread in a lot of their productions. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
There was a common thread that was pretty obvious as far as what they were trying to tell, right? Who they were trying to tell the stories about. You know what I
And
mean?
that was across Disney. I mean, that
No,
wasn't
that's what I'm
just
saying.
Lucasfilm. Yeah.
No, it's 2020 to 2024. Like it was just this is what all the
Yeah.
stories are allowed to be about right now. So
And now
you can say it's
Hollywood
not,
is
but
floundering.
it's pretty blatant in a lot of things.
Yeah.
Just watch any commercial on TV. Anyway, I think they're running out of good stories. The sequels failed not because of ideologies, Ben says, but because they didn't have a good core plot to build the rest of the movies around. I think it's probably both, but I agree with you, Ben. They didn't really have a good core plot. They didn't treat the originals like they were
Yeah.
supposed to. They destroyed our
It's a
childhood.
multifaceted thing for sure. I guess for us though, a lot of the through line. I mean, probably the biggest through line was they didn't. I don't think they respected what came before in a lot of ways. The things that did treat Star Wars with the respect I think it deserved are the ones that were popular and actually did get talked about and people enjoyed and possibly made the money.
Or even micro moments.
Yeah.
Like when Han Solo movie was decent
Yeah, it wasn't
in
bad.
parts.
Was
But
it-
when they called it,
It was
how
the
did
most
you get
Star
your
Wars feeling. That's what I always say. It was
Right.
the most Star Wars feeling movie they put out for the.
But when
the
they
tone.
said silly stuff like, "How did you get your name?" or
Yeah.
"What do you go?" Solo.
Yeah,
it's like,
so on the
dude,
nose.
you guys got to work harder than that. But
Yeah, it was.
anyway, I'll just rapid fire. I'd
Yeah.
rather wait 2 years for more for a quality movie show rather than like a few months and it be really bad.
Yeah, because the thing is, that's a great point, Hannah. Because the thing is, if they just keep cranking out content and it's subpar, then we're going to get to a point where we're not going to get any more.
Yeah.
Not for like 10, 15 years until someone finally comes along and is like, maybe they've forgotten enough about it that we can try again.
Yeah.
That's I mean, honestly, the position they're in right now.
Ben says, haha, two heads remind me of one of the later seasons of The Office.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
know-
That does happen. They try that for like a long time. They're always trying to find, once Michael
Really?
Scott,
Yeah, that's right.
Mhm.
Steve Carell, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Left.
Departed.
It was
Mhm.
Then
it was Dwight.
yeah, it was like-
and was it Dwight and the other
There was
guy?
a whole bunch. They
It
brought in
was-
like all these
yeah.
comedians. Idris Elba's in there.
Yeah.
For a
Yeah.
time. I
Will
mean, it's
Ferrell.
Will Ferrell's in it. That one was weird with Will Ferrell. I
was
thought it was
weird.
going to be funnier, but it was
Should
not,
have been.
unfortunately.
The shows need better quality, says Tim Merkins, if they're going to continue making them. With Andor being the exception, the other live actions are mostly poorly written.
That's the thing. They're just not compelling stories. That's the other
Mhm.
thing. And I think what the part about it is the ideology I feel like they're trying to force sometimes is what makes those stories not as compelling in a lot of ways. So I think Andor is probably one of the best stories that they've actually written. Granted, that it's slower paced in certain elements, and there are a few through lines that don't completely work for me. But overall, the characters are written in a way that we understand them. We understand their motivations. We understand what they're going for. And I think that's why they're so much more relatable, and why I think we're still talking about Andor and just specific characters from Andor. I'll just think about like Luthen randomly, like some of the lines he says. I'm like, that was a great point.
Yeah.
Even Nemec's manifesto. I watched a short on that earlier today.
It was
and
fascinating.
that was fascinating. I was like, some really good stuff. So
Mhm.
anyway,
Skeleton Crew, says KG, was good quality. Lots of people love Ahsoka. Not me so much. And Mando was great before season 3.
I
So you
still
can
think people like
add it
Ahsoka
in.
more for the nostalgia factor of.
I think there are some people that really like Ahsoka.
I know. No, I mean, I know there are. I know there are.
And
but
the nostalgia factor for
I think I think a lot of that though is nostalgia for Rebels
Yeah.
and for live action Clone Wars with Hayden and with Hayden. I mean,
or prequels because of Hayden.
that's what I
But
mean.
live action Clone Wars.
That's like really the only reasons that those were the only things for the most part that I enjoyed.
Even
in
me
that
though, as a
series.
Rebels fan, it didn't turn me around.
Yeah, at the end. But
Well, no, it didn't. I mean, it didn't get me excited for.
no,
It got me excited before, and then I started watching. I was like, "Uh-oh,
Yeah,
you did
yeah.
a bad thing."
Anymore. We got to get to the next story here
Yeah,
though too.
We're going. Justice for droid rights.
Oh no, that
Says
yeah.
Matt.
I did not enjoy
Robert
that part.
California is greater than Michael Scott.
Hot take. No.
Hot take, people. Hot take.
Oh my goodness, you guys are.
You guys all have great takes, though.
wild.
Thank you for putting your opinions out there for us to read. We appreciate it, and we're glad that we can have a fun conversation with you guys about this. And it's good to hear from you guys, the Gonkers out there, on what you guys think about a dual head Lucasfilm leadership role. And it was fun to talk earlier about what Star Wars character would do the best job at Lucasfilm.
Did you just say taco?
talk about it? I did.
Just kidding. It was a stretch.
I was like,
It was a
well, okay.
stretch. Sounded like you said taco, but you
I
said
forgot we
taco.
had that stinger. We said food on target earlier. That's hilarious. All right,
That's
cool.
right.
Well, if we missed anything, do you have something to fact check?
I did a poll. Let
Go
me
ahead.
end it.
Yes.
Ooh.
Let's do that.
Asking, what do they think of the potential co-head? And so 61% said they're reserving judgment. We'll kind of see what happens. And that's fair.
Yeah.
Nice.
We don't. The only problem is we've reserved judgment for a long time with Star Wars. That is getting thinner and thinner and thinner. I mean, I'm not trying to be unfair. I'm just saying,
Mhm.
like, it's gonna get to a point where there's no more line.
Yeah,
and,
I mean,
it's
just-
gone. But
What can we do right now?
I know, I get it.
We're just speculating.
and we always give people a fair shake.
And-
Always,
and
we always
we
do.
hold out hope too. I mean, that's all you can do.
Yep.
And we like tacos.
And we do love tacos. All right, cool. Well, speaking of
Second stories.
thank you. Perfect segue there, Dan.
That was it. Speaking of
Speaking
second camera angles.
Oh, dang it. Yeah, okay, that worked too. Yeah, we got Mark Hamill came out with some interesting remarks recently. He was talking to, I think it was comicbook.com, and he said basically that he's hanging up the mantle of playing Luke Skywalker.
Oh yeah. It's kind of
And-
like what's everybody knew, but he just officially said it, so it kind of made news.
Yeah, it wasn't. yeah, it wasn't crazy. Like we weren't all like, oh my goodness. But at the same time, it is odd in some ways that he's coming out with it now. It seems kind of random, unless there are some big changes that are coming in Lucasfilm, and maybe he knows about some casting. That's the only thing. And I might be reading into this way too much, but maybe there's been some casting news because they did talk about. Oh, now I'm gonna forget his name. It's live. I always forget everybody's Sebastian Stan. Okay, I got it. I knew I talked long enough. I remember Sebastian Stan. They did talk about Sebastian Stan. There's been that circling out there being Luke Skywalker. He's already under the Disney Lucasfilm head situation, so he's in their pocket. So now this coming out, it's interesting news. I think in some ways, Mark Hamill was so hurt from Disney Lucasfilm and how they portrayed Luke in the sequels. I mean, you go back and watch those interviews with Mark Hamill and how he says to like Rian Johnson, everybody there, I fundamentally disagree with everything you've written for my character. Like he's like telling all of us ahead of time that this was nowhere.
Yeah, it's too bad.
So I think that's really part of what's happening. He said in a gracious way that, it's just time for him to move on, kind of like George Lucas said as well. And the funny part, though, he said is like, and if you remember at the end, I fade away, but my robes stay behind, and I am not coming back as a naked Jedi.
Matt says Mark left his Jedi robes behind and also the belt for his pants, apparently.
Yeah. Oh, no. That was another story that came out a while ago. That was, his pants literally fell down. It was really embarrassing.
Oh, no.
That was not good.
Old people.
And I have my qualms with Mark Hamill, don't get me wrong. But as Luke Skywalker, he will always be Luke to me, though, still. Yeah, and he does have some funny dad jokes as well.
Yeah, young Luke. It's just hard when you write a character, or when you acted in the original thing, and then like 50 years later, you got to come back 40 years later with a completely different set of writers who they're not George Lucas. Yeah. They're trying to emulate whatever it is that they think George Lucas is with their own interpretation, and now you're trying to play the same character. It's like, that is so far removed. I mean, like, if I wrote something 10 years ago, I would probably write the character differently now. Mm-hmm. And I'm not even George Lucas. Oh, obviously. But then there's just so many things in between there, and they're trying to interpret it, and they're trying to speak for stories of 2018, and they're trying to speak for, and then Rian Johnson was trying to build on what came before. I don't know. So, Mark, it was doomed to fail from the beginning, unfortunately, because it wasn't George Lucas writing it. Because what would George Lucas have had Mark Hamill do? What do you think?
I think that was the biggest mistake, though, that Disney made, was he had treatments 4, 7, 8, 9, and they threw him out. Yeah. They just threw him out. But how dumb can you be?
I know.
Where
was Mark, though?
That's the biggest
or where was Mark? Where was Luke? In that treatment.
I don't think they've actually ever released that treatment. That's the thing.
Did he have him as a hermit?
Well, there's bits and pieces that got released that actually I think Maul was coming back.
Oh, okay.
And that Darth Talon, Maul's apprentice, was going to be involved with that somehow. But I'm pretty sure it still would have focused on Luke.
Would it have been 30 years later? Would it have been more in the Thrawn era? Would it have been, you know what I mean? I guess that's to be determined. Would it have been 500 years? No, not really if it's Maul, but...
Right.
Would he have shown flashbacks? Would he have gone, would he have revisited all of the same nostalgia bait? No, he wouldn't.
He would have pushed things forward. He would have
written he probably would have written new characters, but he also would have used what was there.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like Disney had to, for marketing purposes and branding, they had to create the Poe, the new Han, Luke, and Leia, what they thought of for 2015.
Yeah.
The Disney version.
Yeah.
I mean, take that for what it's worth. This is what Disney would do with Han, Luke, and Leia, and that's what you got with Poe and Finn and Rey. Now,
well, because they wanted to set up a universe where they could keep making money off of younger actors for a very long time.
Apparently.
And I think that's what they were going for.
Yeah.
Totally missed the mark because they didn't do it with respect. That's what we've said so many
Especially
times.
When they burned the books and the history of Jedi.
The Jedi Order. Yeah. I mean, I think mostly it was how they made all of the original characters losers almost, except for Leia in a way.
Yeah.
And then killed them off. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, now all my heroes that I grew up with as a child, you made losers and then killed them off.
But
Like,
you're not the only one that feels that way.
No.
I think just about everybody that loved Luke feels that way.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know of anybody. Maybe they like the movie, they appreciate the movie for certain reasons, but like what they did to Han, what they, you know what I mean? It's just all the way
dad.
all the way down the road.
And the
It's-
problem with that though too is you have decades worth of Legends material that did it 10 times better. And like that's sad to say in some ways because these are just like book writers. Not that book writers aren't as good, but you'd think there'd be so much more put into a story when it comes to the film side of what made Lucasfilm Star Wars so great. But these book writers over decades wrote a so much more interesting and I think appropriate ending to these characters, but also a great continuation. You got to see them blossom more into great people and heroes that you can look up to. But they still were flawed. That's the thing. Like you killed Legends, but honestly, I prefer Legends with all of its silliness over this Disney depressing version. Like that's the thing. I'm baffled by that in some ways, that they didn't understand that this wasn't going to make people upset. I don't know. That's my personal thing about it.
Tamerkin says of all the problems with the sequels, the biggest for me is the treatment of Luke, Han, and Leia for sure.
Yeah, because they could have sent them off with dignity. That's the thing. I think they deserved dignity.
And then like if JJ was writing one movie, okay, cool. You deleted the option of them ever all three being together at the same time.
Yeah, right off the bat.
Yeah.
Biggest again.
I mean,
huge.
you didn't even give Rian Johnson a chance, who maybe he would have made it happen. He's at least Luke and Leia got to reunite.
Yeah,
and they got to be on the Falcon. But like, I guess that's what you get when you turn into a hermit. But
yeah,
it's
right.
like, no, you're not going to be together because I don't. That you're depressed. Whatever.
Which a hermit done right can still work. I mean,
Well, Yoda was kind of a hermit.
was
Yeah,
a hermit.
That's
that
why
was for different reasons.
that's what they were trying to copy. Blah blah blah.
I know, but
It's a pathetic attempt.
it was, and that's a fail right there because they didn't want to copy certain things,
Right.
and make it successful. They wanted to copy the things that like didn't really even make sense. I don't know. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on it. We've been talking about that for a while. We are sad to see. I mean, to be honest, we're sad to see Mark Hamill go. I say now, if they offer him enough, I think he's going to come back.
Yeah.
This is just his comments, and it might be again leading into something else. What factor?
Yeah, I think you're right. There's got to be more here that he's hinting at, and he can't leave it behind. There's no way. I mean, it is ingrained into into him as a person. So, he might not be in any more movies, but I think he'll still be around in the Star Wars universe.
One of my favorite bits that he did actually was a behind the scenes like funny thing with him and the guy who plays Cal Kestis. And he was like he was like the mentor. That was a better mentorship in that like funny behind the scenes thing for Star Wars Survivor than the actual Luke Skywalker in the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, why can't they do more fun stuff like that?
That was better
Yeah.
in my opinion. They executed that better than the actual movies. It was so funny. If you guys haven't watched that, definitely go check it out. It's the Monahan, what's his name? I just lost it. But the guy who plays Cal Kestis.
Oh, yeah.
And also Mark Hamill, and he's like Hamill's like Cameron Monahan.
Yeah.
Cameron Monahan. Cameron Monahan?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound right to me.
Okay.
But maybe it is. I don't know. Anyway. Anyway, it's a hilarious
it's
little
Cameron.
It is Cameron Monahan?
Don't question.
Okay, sorry. I don't that's some reason my Cal Kestis is in my mind.
Yeah.
Anyway, he plays Cal Kestis. And those are great stories. Those are better stories than a lot. And there's like little things here and there that like I feel like sneak in to Star Wars, Disney Star Wars in a lot of ways, but they're not the main thing. Like the main things are like not typically as good. It's like the ones that sneak up on you.
Yeah.
Because I think it's like the all-seeing eye of KK from like the Lord of the Rings. Sauron is not able to like keep her eyes on the smaller things. Like Frodo, say like Andor season 1, like sneaks into Mount Doom and like betrays her, stuff like that. That's like what it's feeling like to me in a lot of ways. Even the games, the games and stuff like this, the smaller things, Rebuild the Galaxy. Those are the things that are giving me more hope than a lot of these main Star Wars projects that they've been putting out. Anyway,
Yes.
You guys have any other thoughts on Mark Hamill? And I know the Gonkers have been kind of making some rounds at this.
Yeah, and we did a poll.
Okay, yeah. What's that poll?
So 67% are saying sad times, but it's understandable.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's definitely a fair way to put it. And I do think he could come back, especially with new leadership. Maybe with new leadership, and they tell him the thing that he should have never agreed to was coming back without seeing the treatments.
Yeah.
I think that was a mistake on his part that he didn't, because I remember him saying in the table read for The Force Awakens that he kept thinking that his character was going to show up, and it would have made more sense. Honestly, his take was better than what they gave us, and then he didn't until the very, very end. But it sounded like he didn't know that. How do you not know that? Like, you should definitely find out how they're going to treat you. I think he probably just assumed and was fed a lot of stuff that might not have been great. And then he just said yes. Also, they gave him a crap ton of money, I'm sure. So, but at this point, like, pick what you're doing. This is more legacy now than it is money. So,
Yeah.
All right. That's our take on that. Mark Hamill, a true legend, Luke Skywalker himself. He will always have that, in my opinion. And I will always love him for that specifically.
Did you see that George Lucas? His name, Lucas. And you take Luke Skywalker, Luke, and his first initial of his last name is Luke S. Luke
Skywalker. So it's a self-insertion.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Lucas and Luke S.
Yeah.
It's an interesting
Parallel.
Yeah.
Dan.
Echo.
Dan. That would be the first name.
Dan Highwalker.
Skywalker.
Dan. Hi there. Hello there.
Yes,
Okay,
that's
that's
it.
not-
But
that was-
it
that
was-
was
I thought that
terrible.
was an interesting thing, but maybe it's not that interesting actually.
No, it was very interesting. And
It's
I think it is a
It's clever.
bit of a self-insertion, like KK's inserted her into multiple projects.
Why
with,
not?
right.
Brunettes.
KG said it was actually a self-insert.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Let's go.
Confirmed.
But also
Confirmed.
like a better version. I feel like it's more like the heroes of who you'd want
Mhm.
yourself to become type situation.
Yeah.
A
So-
growing.
It's the only way to do it, right?
Yeah, exactly. All right. Next one up, though, and we've been talking about this a little bit already on the show, but the Andor viewership rises, hitting the Nielsen lists recently. And this was I saw this on Deadline. So they were the ones covering this. I think it was number 5 on the Nielsen ratings, which was fascinating. So it actually hit, I think, 850. No, 800. So Andor hit another series high in the lead up to its final episodes, generating 830 million minutes viewed from May 5th to the 11th. So that's starts coming in at number 5 on the Nielsen streaming list. So that's of everything being watched.
Nice.
Streaming, it hit number 5. Now it has beat out some of the, and in the odd thing too that they said in here was that its significant margin is the most watched streaming title among Asian viewers by a significant margin, with a total of 215 million viewing minutes
That's amazing.
generated by that demographic alone, that's fascinating to me. That's cool.
It
Obviously,
sh-
they're gelling with it.
It should reach everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's good writing, as we believe it is, then yes, it spans the world.
Yeah, so it's good to see,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of indication in some ways about how good Andor has been and really hit it out of the park at the end. I'd say that's where they really shine. Like, if you only showed me like the last, obviously you're gonna miss a lot of context, but even just the last, like, what would you say, 5 episodes? Is that where we went? The last 5 episodes on that?
Yeah. Something like that, 4 or 5.
Yeah, I think that's where you really shine in Andor. And speaking of that, I mean, what do you guys think about those numbers? I think it beat out Ahsoka and some other shows as well for viewership, but it's not quite up there with some of the highs of Mandalorian and stuff like that. So
Oh, okay. Matt's coming in saying,
yeah, what's he coming?
It's great to see Andor charting on Nielsen, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, it performed worse than the Acolyte if you math it all out.
Interesting.
That's
Interesting.
Tricky.
Yeah, I mean, we're not, and I don't think we've got all the numbers yet though from it.
Yeah.
So
I don't know how that works.
And the headlines, though, are still good enough, right? To be like, oh, Andor made it on the charts, blah, blah, blah. whereas Acolyte didn't make it on any charts.
Well, I think it did in the beginning, but the thing with Acolyte was it like hit up here, and because people were just so curious about it because it was
Yeah.
so different.
Even
in
I was
Star
curious
Wars.
about it.
Everybody was like, Acolyte, that sounds cool. It's gonna be Dark Side. Oh, we haven't got that really. Let's do that. And then so people tuned in and watched, but it kept going down. That was the difference between the Acolyte and now with Andor. Andor has been a steady rise. If you look at our title or our thumbnail there as well, it's been a steady rise. Even from season 1, it just kept growing and growing.
Yep.
And then season 2 hit, and it was growing. But then the last, it just skyrocketed.
Slammed you in
So-
the face.
And I think it will continue because that hype is still real for Andor. Again, it's kind of like, I don't know. It's almost like this, not the best kept secret because it's out there, but at the same time, I don't feel like it's in the mainstream public eye, I
Right.
guess you could say.
Well, it's got enough buzz that you hear about other shows or movies, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, did you ever see that movie or this show?" And you're like, "No, I never got around to it. I don't have Netflix. I don't have Disney Plus."
Right.
But then there's things that are in the back of your mind, like, "Well, when I get a chance, I'm gonna sit down and watch that thing."
Yeah,
so when you're
that's
looking
kinda-
for something, be like, "Oh shoot, I was gonna watch this thing. Let's give it a try."
Yeah.
And people will probably sit down and people, because now they know, they'll have heard probably, you got to wait till the end because it all builds, They
Yep.
won't jump in and be like, this sucks. But because we now have the beginning and the end, they can sit there and binge the whole thing and be like, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
or maybe they hate it, but I think they're going to be pretty impressed. So I think it's just going to continue to grow, and the viewership's probably going to stay strong because I'm
Yeah.
going to rewatch it every day. No, I'm kidding.
And the difference here is they stick the landing.
Mhm.
That is a huge difference from a lot of the projects
Right.
that have been going on with Star Wars recently. A lot of them really peak kind of more in the middle and then just kind of mid towards the end. But with this one, it really peaks at the end. And I think that's why this is going to have legs for a long time, and it's going to continue to get talked about because it all depends on how you end.
Yeah, if the ending's good, then it's
It justifies everything that's come before.
that's right.
Even the slow burns, even the filler, you can still get over a lot of that because you're like, but just wait till what it leads for. You can at least say that. Just wait
Yeah.
until the ending. It'll
Yeah.
be worth it. I promise you. That's
Yes.
the conversation that's had.
Yeah, Ben Bravo has a good point. He said Andor resolved its suspense and mysteries, whereas Acolyte tried to have a bunch of suspense and mystery, but didn't have any actual plot to reveal, just lots of confusion.
Yes. Great.
Good
yeah,
point.
Yeah, definitely wrap that up beautifully.
I meant to clip the part on the stream last year when I came in, and I
Oh, yeah, we
I
need
talked
to. We
about
should
the,
put that rant.
about just feeling embarrassed, just
Yeah,
wholly embarrassed for the
Of
people
all
that
the
put the time
things-
and energy into that show
Of all
because of the
things,
confusion.
I thought the way you were gonna go with that, it was worse than what I thought you were gonna say. And it was like it was like such a dad response. I just loved it so much. Like I felt like that's probably what George Lucas would say as a dad to the people
Oh.
who created Acolyte. Yeah, we will clip that.
We'll clip that, yeah.
We'll put it up for everybody to see.
I
It
mean,
was truly epic.
it just like Ben says, the confusion, the levels of confusion, the circles that they ran around with the flashbacks, and it was like, I don't even know, the Temu version of Andor, but the Temu version of Andor. I mean, it
Wow.
was so bad, and I don't even know that
Was
much
the
about
Temu
Temu.
just-
I just know that that's a turn of phrase.
Yeah.
It's like kind of
the
a-
Chinese knockoff of
Amazon or something, or
yeah, basically.
okay, it's like cheap stuff. It was like such a cheap, terrible, cheap, terrible.
Yeah,
And then after that, it was still terrible. And then it stepped on Yoda at the end, and you're like,
it stepped on everything.
Why are you
It
stepping
stepped on
on
itself
Yoda?
half the time. I didn't even know where to put his footsteps. I think it was
yeah.
just like,
but it's been a year since it came out. Like,
yeah,
it's
that
just
one
like-
will not stay.
It was
That
on my
one-
birthday last year, so that's why I don't forget it.
It's a special place in his
It
heart.
has a special place.
But not to go down the Acolyte trail too much, but I was excited to see this. All right. And we don't always talk about a lot of other streamers, especially if they're not somebody we've had on our show, although we do have a lot of friends that we've had on the show. Thank you all. But Star Wars Theory, we did talk about a little bit. Was it 2 weeks ago? I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, a couple
Something
weeks
like
ago.
that, yeah.
Anyway, he hadn't been watching Andor season 2. There's a lot of stuff leading up to that and why he didn't want to watch it. He even discussed it in his video, which I encourage you guys to watch. I actually thought it was a good video. You don't have to, obviously, but it was a good video, and it was funny though because he parroted a lot of the things
Mhm.
that we said a few weeks ago. I'm not saying he saw our channel or our thoughts on it because he definitely didn't, but I'm just saying I think he came around to it. And the cool thing was, I mean, he still had his opinions of it, of course, but the cool thing was he ended up watching it with an open mind because that's what his community did.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best thing that he could have done, which is the opposite of what Disney Lucasfilm has done in a lot of things. He listened to his fans and he did what they suggested because everybody just wanted him to experience this and to get his actual take with an open mind. And you know what? When he did that, he liked the show. He actually really liked that. I know I'm spoiling his video a little bit there, but I think most people wanted to watch it anyway. But it was just great to see. He said a lot of the things that we said, and he even said that in his video that he watched what the fans just wanted to experience it, and he did it, and he was glad he did because he said it's probably some of, if not the best Disney Star Wars that we've got. And that's a lot coming from Star Wars Theory. He liked it that much. And I applaud him for being the bigger man and even stating that he was wrong in how he handled the situation.
Yeah.
I mean, he admitted that. And he said, he's got a lot going on in his mind. I get it. He's got a lot going on for sure. And he said he even said, he's like, I've been locked up inside way too much lately, but which is understandable if you're working a lot of hours doing a lot of stuff and then people are coming at you with different things. It can get under your skin. But I think he did the right thing there. And I was just so happy to see that he did, because that's what we talked about a few weeks ago. We thought it might be the best thing for him. What do you guys think about this news, though? Do you think this is good? It's a good turn for Star Wars series and for fans in general? Because I mean, a lot of people say he's probably one of the top Star Wars fans, saying
influencers.
Influencers, yeah,
In a way.
influencers.
So
He is, though.
not that everybody agrees with him, and I don't necessarily agree with everything Theory says.
He's
I think he's a pretty honest take.
he did the right thing in watching it, because his own fans were like, dude, you got to watch it.
Yeah.
So if people keep telling us in our chat and our comments, like, you guys got to give this thing a chance, we probably would do it.
We
You know what I
definitely
mean?
would, yeah.
And we have done it. So it's like, obviously when you have millions and whatever, and he's got his business and he's doing all this stuff, it's hard.
Yeah.
And he's got different people chattering in his ear and friends here and friends there that he wants to support. And now if he says this against, then it might hurt this other channel and blah, blah, blah. And everybody, that's their livelihood. Like, if they blow up their channel, like, they got nothing. And that's why he's doing his lightsabers, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whereas we can sit here and say, honestly, what we think without a sponsor, without a whatever.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter.
More freedom in some ways.
Now he's got a little bit of pressure, so you get some of that. That being said, it was good, wasn't it? I was right from the beginning.
Yeah.
Dude, was totally out of it. I'm like, I don't want to hear it now. Like, you were way behind the 8 ball, but I'm glad you did the right thing. Personally,
Yeah. It takes a lot to do that.
if you don't like Andor, I don't know how you can like Star Wars, and I stick to it.
Yeah.
I just stick to it. Everybody thought I was crazy for saying that, but it's true, because it's as Star Warsy at by the ending as you can possibly get. There's so many things in there that thread and work, not the thread, but that work through it so well.
Oh.
Oh man.
But
so,
Dan, only
yeah.
Siths deal in absolutes.
yeah, I know. It's true, but
It's true.
but Andor is
that's how you feel.
Andor
That's your opinion.
is-
And I appreciate
it's so good.
that.
But I'm glad that he did the right thing, because hey, we all kind of were 12 steps ahead of him. So
Yeah.
Welcome to the club.
Welcome to the club.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I'm glad. I'm glad that he did, and he did the right thing. I think for me, I think it's tougher for people to admit when they were wrong about something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
To save, because so many people are just so prideful with so
Yeah.
much they have, and when you get to that point, I understand it's difficult
Mhm.
because people are going to call you out on everything.
Mhm.
So it's hard to go back on something you've said, because then it feels like you're giving in to them in some ways.
Mhm.
But in this situation, I really think he did the right thing, and I was just glad that he did it, and I thought it was a good take that he actually had on it too. He still stuck to his guns with a lot of what he didn't like, but overall was able to praise it and give it the credit that it was due. So
Yeah, and the thing I find exciting about it is that because he has such a big audience, that hopefully with his turnaround, more people will be enticed to go see it, to
Yes.
watch Andor.
Yes.
So whether his opinions or whatever he's doing he does influence some people, and
A lot of people.
Andor deserves the views, in my opinion. So kudos for that.
And if he's on that train, we're right there with
yeah,
him.
yeah, absolutely.
I think he lost some street cred because of what he did, because of who he was partnering with in the beginning before we watched it. You know what I'm saying?
I think, he had too
And
many.
He followed along with some people that were saying stuff like, "Don't watch this, is trash," blah blah blah. Now, there's things in the show that obviously I don't approve of, that I don't care for, that I don't ever want to watch. That's not why I watched the show. But the writing depth and the acting performances, I mean, you go on and on. The way it looks, the Star Wars feel is like what I would dream to make if I could make a Star Wars production. Like everything from start to finish. And I can't even write one sentence of dialogue anywhere near that good. Never mind 2 seasons. So, but the music, it's just, you go on and on about it. And some of the other Star Wars shows have done equally great things, but.
And that's why on Stay on Target, you're always going to get our fair shake. And we're going to give everything a fair shake when it comes to any content. We watch the bad, we watch the good. And you know what? We always call it as we see it. We call it when it's bad, and we call it when it's good. And that's our opinion. And we respect your opinion if you guys have it. But you're going to get a fair and balanced take when it comes to Star Wars if you guys watch this. Because again, if we don't praise it when it's good, then I don't know, what are we actually doing here? What are we doing here? We got to have constructive criticism, but we also got to tell them when they're doing things right. I mean, the feedback is what inspires creatives to make better content for us. So that's what we're doing. And we're glad that you guys can be here with us, giving your opinions as well. But speaking of opinions and questions.
Oh, yeah.
Are you guys ready for this Q&A that we are queuing up here? And if you guys have any more thoughts on any of this, again, put it in the comments, in the chat. We'd love to hear from you. If you're watching this back later, definitely throw it down below. And don't forget, everybody, hit like. Got some questions that have already been submitted. And fact checker.
Are we muted?
Oh,
he's muting off and on, I think.
Who's muting off and on?
Yep, there we go.
Can you guys hear me?
Huh.
There we go.
That was kind of random.
Sorry, everybody. All right, we're good.
We're good. Yeah, that one scene was
just muted or something.
Inexplicably though.
It doesn't.
I didn't hit the mute button.
It's a live show. You never know what's going to happen, right?
We're live. That's right. We take life by the throat and
like a true Sith.
Like
with your pinchers.
Yeah, we could sit here and we could pre-produce and record stuff and then edit it and make sure it's perfect. No. We're going to give you the raw mess ups.
Yeah, that's true. We are very authentic here at Stay on Target.
We're so authentic that like you're going to ask us a question in a second and we don't even know what to say, but we're going to give you an answer. But we have thought about a few of these before.
We have, yeah.
Some of these questions. So you ready for the first one?
Hit it.
Fact checker, you want to read it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Let's go. We're not going to look at the question of the week. We already did. All right. Question number 1.
Okay. This is from Hannah. And she said, how did y'all come up with the name Stay on Target? I can't remember if this was ever answered, she said.
I do feel like we've talked about this, but it's probably been years since we've talked about this.
How did we, Dustin?
How did we? So it's a good question. And it's been so long that I'm having a difficult time remembering. I think it's just we were looking for funny Star Wars phrases, and we don't always stay on target when it comes to things.
Yeah.
And we definitely get off on crazy tangents. So I think when we were thinking about it, we had a few other ideas in play, but the one we kept coming back to was just stay on target. I mean, that's a review. We're trying to stay on target when we review this content with everybody, knowing that half the time we're going to go off on some silly, goofy tangent that doesn't make any sense or doesn't really apply. And therein lies the irony of the show and the name. And it's just an iconic line from the original Star Wars episode 4.
Well, the channel was not named Stay on Target in the beginning. Correct. The show was called Stay on Target. So there's a little bit of history if you didn't know that.
Yep.
Up until actually The Mandalorian Season 3, we were called Hawk Studio Productions.
Yes, correct.
Which is still a thing, I guess that's who produces these shows, I guess.
Yeah, that's the
But-
studio in which it is produced.
Yeah. So, but then the show was inside of that called Stay on Target, and then it wasn't until branding and I started thinking about, oh, what if we did that and did this after Andor season 1?
Yeah.
Let me tell you, because people started watching our videos and our live streams.
We were
We're
like, what?
we've been doing this for like 70 years and nobody watched, but now Andor, people are interested in a topic.
Right.
And then, yeah. So here we are with the circle, the logo, the name of the channel.
A lot of thought went into a lot of
Yes.
this. Yes.
Not my thoughts, your guys' thoughts.
No, everybody's thoughts. It was a collaboration between all of us.
Yeah, I guess. But you guys did it and it's great. So that's that.
Yeah. I think
And
that's...
we can't really stay on target.
No, we can't. That's the irony of the name. And,
And that's what KG said. She said, ironic and iconic.
Oh, I like it. KG,
Yeah.
that was good. Thank you. We should use that. Ironic
should.
and iconic. That's just all we're gonna put on any of our pages. Stay on target. Ironic and iconic.
Yeah, that would
We're
work.
just self-claiming iconic.
Yeah. Right.
I don't know if that works,
no.
but
We'll
Yeah,
try.
we'll let the Gonkers say that.
yeah, we'll let them.
That's right. And
yeah, oh, go ahead, Dan. Yeah,
Bismo says,
yeah.
what is this thumbnail with the skeleton face?
Do you like that, dude? Oh, that was. Yeah, we were trying to think of
Dustin
two
was
heads,
on a roll.
and I was like, "There is a character in Star Wars with two heads. That's basically what they're doing."
Yeah.
Oh, it's so funny.
Yeah, Hawk Studio produces great music.
Oh, that is a great point. Yes,
you would
whenever
know.
delineate between the two kind of entities in some ways.
There's a musical side to what we like to do. That's how we all started, actually.
Yeah,
Well,
for
yeah,
sure.
that's how we all started.
I mean, technically, the channel started though whenever we made the fan films.
Yes.
so that's going back a
Yep.
ways. But yeah, good
Pod
question.
racing
Great
announcer.
question. I think we've answered that. If anybody else
Yeah.
has follow-up questions,
Good
ask them in
question.
the chat. What's
All right,
next?
Question number
Dwa.
dose.
Oh, it does.
Okay.
Sorry.
So it's perfect timing since Bismo jumped in.
Ah.
He had some questions for me specifically, which is intimidating as I'll get out. So I'll do my best. We'll take it one question at a time. So first question. When did the guys force you to watch Star Wars?
We didn't.
Well, let her answer. Sorry.
But leave it on you guys because I want to see your faces here.
We didn't. That's the answer. That's the honest
Yeah,
truth.
let me tell
Okay,
the
you
story.
said. Okay, sorry.
No, the guys definitely didn't force me to watch it because I'm pretty sure we watched it as a family, the original trilogy, when we were kids. Our dad especially really enjoyed it. Our mom, I think, likes it too, but dad for sure. So yeah, we just had good family time and watched the movies. I don't remember specifically being super absorbed in it like you guys. I see it more as, good entertainment with some moments of deeper thought. And I like the overarching hope and some spiritual aspects that you can connect to it. But yeah, the guys, it was never a chore. To watch Star Wars.
Yeah, I mainly remember, to piggyback off that just for a sec.
Mhm.
I know these are your questions. I'm sorry. I'm
No,
stepping on your
no,
questions.
please.
I mainly remember us arguing over which Star Wars movie we were going to watch because Dan always wanted to watch Empire Strikes Back. I always wanted to watch Return of the Jedi, and I think do you remember arguing about those two? Fact checker, between which one? Because when we were kids, I just remember when we were able to put a movie on. That's the one that we like to. Those are the ones we like to put on a lot.
I don't remember arguing much, or at least winning many of those arguments.
Yeah.
I felt like we watched a lot of
We
things
just-
you guys wanted to watch, which I was fine with because again, it's just good entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, great answer though, fact
That's
checker.
fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, next question.
Part 2.
Okay. Yeah. Part 2 from Bismo. What is your favorite movie? I think Star Wars movie. I would say Episode 6, Return of the Jedi.
Really?
Wow.
So I thought
Oh, wow.
long and hard about it.
Nice.
There's I like so many of them, but that one just to me it has it all. KG
I
said,
like
"Wait,
you more and more, fact checker. You
are
might
you
be
all
my favorite
siblings?"
now.
Yes.
Yeah.
I knew I'd get
Wait,
you one
you guys
day.
are family members?
I love it, KG.
Yes, we didn't know that. We all are.
Yeah, but no, I think Return of the Jedi has it all. It has intrigue, the rescue at Jabba's palace, Andor. With oh shoot, I just lost it.
Wicket.
Yeah, thank you.
The Ewoks?
Ewoks,
You like
thank
the Ewoks?
Yeah, I definitely love.
You were kind of the
that.
right age for that too. I feel like whenever you watch them,
Probably.
some things hit different when you're a kid
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
when you're an adult. That's
there
all
was,
I'm saying.
yeah, I like the character redemption between Luke and Vader, and overall, it had a good resolution. You really felt that hope in the end. So yeah.
I agree. And that's
Mhm.
I didn't know that. How did I not know
Oh,
that?
I
That
don't
was
know.
You never asked.
Yeah,
no.
thanks.
We've asked this question multiple times. I don't remember you answering that way. I thought you always
I don't know.
said a different one,
Maybe I do. Maybe I changed my mind,
but
but
that's
this is
totally fine. You're,
how I feel today.
yeah,
It's the 7-year thing.
Yeah,
It's a 7-year
be.
conundrum.
yeah.
But
Also, your taste buds don't they change like every 4 years or something?
Or Dan, that's what Dan's saying. 7 years.
that's
Oh,
what I
7
say.
years.
Yeah,
There
but
you
that's
go.
what I mean. But sometimes you don't think long and hard about a thing until you think long and hard about a thing,
Yeah.
and so you don't.
Can I
you
make
know.
it any more clear?
So you just kind of casually, yeah, that one probably. But then it's like, how often do we think about some trivial question? Certain trivial questions that don't
Yeah.
actually, but that's fascinating.
So being a Star Wars fan,
It's the wrong answer, but no.
whoa, whoa! Shots fired!
Ooh,
Shots
we're
fired!
watching Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
We're still kids.
I like what Bismo says. He says, "Like your brother," and then Matt says, "There is another." I love it. That was good. You guys are good.
I remember just
Oh,
like
man.
the feel. I probably I'm a lady, so I based a lot of things off of feelings, and the
Yeah.
feeling was better watching the third one,
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
episode
yeah.
6,
that's a
Can't
great
argue
point.
that.
Yeah.
compared to the others. There's great moments in the others, but I like the costumes and the look. Some of the sets in episode 6.
Yeah.
They always stood out to me. So,
Yep.
anyway, long answer.
Great answer though.
Can't go
You
wrong.
nailed it, fact checker. All right, what's
Thanks.
the next question for the? I think it's another one for the fact checker.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh
Yep.
man. Okay, 2 more. Bismo also asked, who's your favorite character? And that one is tough. Again, it could change. I probably have answered this in many ways over the years, but as of today,
Somebody's gonna eventually go back through,
I know. Call
And-
me out.
find all of the different answers to these questions.
Do it, please.
That'd be crazy if we ever get to that point. That's gonna be nuts.
That'd be awesome.
Anyway, sorry. fact checker.
Yeah, so it's kind of close between Han and Obi-Wan, especially because of Ewan McGregor. You can't go wrong. But I'd say Han is probably my favorite character.
Really?
Yeah.
Jonathan.
Yeah.
And he's not even really shirtless in the.
Oh my goodness. That's not how I
He's
base
also
all my
Indiana
decisions.
Jones.
Yeah, he's
though.
also Indiana Jones. I mean, yeah.
Dr. Jones.
Exactly.
Do you like Indiana Jones more, or do you like Han Solo more? This
Oh,
is my question now to
oh,
you.
shoot. Yeah, probably Indiana Jones. I like the history.
Indiana
there.
Solo.
I knew it. I knew you were gonna say that. I've
Sorry.
turned them against you.
Yeah.
But they're both good.
They're both good. They're both.
That's funny.
No,
Yeah,
that's great.
So,
That's a great answer.
Okay.
Are there more? Oh
There's
yeah,
one more.
one more.
Last
Okay.
For the
one.
fact checker.
all right, this one I will
speaking
admit.
of which,
What?
no, just
Oh,
yeah, we
yeah.
had talked about the sequels.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read it wrong initially. I thought he was saying, "What is your favorite prequel movie?" But he said, "What is your favorite sequel movie? Which one?" If you had to pick a favorite sequel movie, which one would it be and why? So yeah.
I know what she's gonna say.
You do? What do you think?
No, I don't.
Oh, no, I want to know your guesses.
Force
Force
Awakens.
Awakens.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Okay. I mean, it's
it's
probably the
obvious-
best answer.
Okay.
It's
really
the
is.
safest answer, I think, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, I remember seeing that in theater, and Star Wars
Yeah.
coming back to theater is such a huge thing, and such a fun family and friends.
Mhm.
Whole groups of
Yes.
us would go and watch these movies as they came out. But that one, especially, it left me with more hope than the others.
Oh,
So
for sure.
that's again, feelings answer.
Yeah.
Feelings answer.
That's a great.
smart.
No, it's a great answer, and it's honest.
That's how I'd
Awesome.
still judge a lot of things too. I'm like,
How does this
It's
make
good.
me feel?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hungry. Tacos.
hungry tacos.
So yeah, thanks for the questions.
Good
Bismo.
Yeah,
job.
great questions. Thank you, everybody. Again, yeah, and if you guys more questions, let us know. We got
There's more here for the rest of us.
Yeah.
I think one more.
Yeah, there's a few
the
that
rest of
have
us.
come in, so
Okay.
let's see if we have time for those.
All right.
But,
Here
go
we
ahead.
go. From Tamerkins, there are so many on-site filming locations in movies and shows. Which Star Wars filming location would you like to visit and why?
All right, Dan, why don't you hit this one up? Or
Yeah, I don't know the specifics, but I would love to visit any of the sets from Andor.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy, for TV shows. I also want to go to the Volume, the set of all of the Acolyte. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my gosh, why did you? You had to bring it back.
No, I want to go to. A lot of these are on the Volume. So, but live action sets, I've got to say, some of the Andor ones were just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I don't have a specific one.
Rogue One scenes as well.
Rogue One scenes. Scarif looks like a nice place to vacation.
Yeah,
That'd be kind of cool. But I'm not a big fan of the beach, so I'd rather go to.
Wait, you're a crab. I thought you'd love the beach.
Yeah, come on, Dan.
It's true, but it'd be fun to go to
Pinches up.
the place that they filmed Empire Strikes Back. But it's really cold there, so I don't want to go there.
Yeah,
I just don't.
The only reason I would want to go there is to try and reenact some of those scenes.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
get footage. I love whenever people do that when they
Mhm.
take photos of like where they filmed things. It's just so fun, and they reenact them. I was like,
Yeah.
that would be Obster. Lobster? I read lobster. I was like, that'd be awesome. Is what I'm trying to say. That would be so lobster. We're gonna make that a new
Okay,
slang
there we
term.
go.
That would be Obster.
That would be so lobster. People, pinchers up.
Yes. KG says Scarif is the Maldives, I believe. So that's cool.
That would be
That is
nice.
neat.
Yeah, there's so many to choose from. Fact checker, you go ahead.
Well, I mean, the top answer would be Tunisia, right? Because that's
Tunisia.
Oh,
No, he's saying it wrong.
Okay.
No, you're saying it right.
okay.
Don't let him fool you to the dark side.
That's just iconic. So,
Yeah.
but other than that, yeah, Tamerkins, I'm kind of on the same page, thinking Andor and some of those beautiful locations they filmed at. Montserrat in Spain looked really, really
Mm.
neat.
Isn't
Where's-
that a
wh-
font?
Wait, which one's that one? Montserrat. What's that?
Oh, well, let me look up
Okay,
what
sorry.
scenes that
Italy.
was in.
Yeah, because there's so
Dude,
But I think that
Oh,
was
is that,
with Mon Mothma and no, I thought that was
is Naboo Italy?
yeah, yeah,
I
some
thought
of it.
I
Mhm.
thought for sure you were gonna say Naboo.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I thought you guys
Definitely.
were gonna go that route, but there's so many scenes, iconic places that it would.
I don't want to run into Jar Jar.
He's just like hanging around Naboo.
It's like,
I would
"Ah,
love that. Honestly.
hey, Jar
that would be
Jar."
so funny. That would be
Just walk
hilarious.
around. They should actually at the city, but
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so the Spain, the Montserrat mountain range was kind of the planet Chandrila. in
Oh,
Andor.
okay. Yeah.
oh yeah, that would
So
be
it's a
pretty
lot of-
cool.
That would be
Mhm.
pretty cool. Yeah.
Yes.
So for me, there's so many. Like you said, Tunisia's a pretty cool one because that's iconic. That's
Yeah.
Luke's home on
Yeah,
Tatooine.
that's hard to
Tatooine.
beat,
It's hard to
yeah.
beat that one.
Mhm.
But one I've always wanted to go to just because I feel like it's more attainable than the rest for me personally, monetarily wise, would be the Redwoods in California for
Mhm.
Andor.
Endor.
I would love to go there. I mean,
Yeah,
hey,
that's true.
I love the woods like that. It was so cool. And the Redwoods are just kind of special in general.
Mhm.
But the fact that it's also an awesome filming location and how they even filmed that was cool. I would pick that one as the most attainable, but any of these places would be epic. I'd love to go on all of them. Maybe one of these years we're going to do that. If we get big enough, popular enough, we actually have enough finances to do that. We should go to every location and take a photo and try
That
and
would be
react to
so
scenes.
cool.
I would love that. That would be
Mhm.
amazing.
Yes.
And we have a special GoFundMe page set up now. No, I'm
That's
just kidding.
right.
We do not. But if you want to help the channel, you can become a member. We have a membership here. We have members here. We have a membership here, Stay on Target membership, where it's less than a candy bar a month, and you get an extra stream every week, pretty much. I don't think we've missed too many, and those are always hilarious and a good time. Tonight we will be doing the full Star Wars animated and live action shows ranking. So right after this, we're going to go straight into the members only stream. So if you're not a member, it's a great time to become a member. We also get to talk to you guys a little bit more, and it's just a blast. So definitely become a member and come watch that over there whenever you can. It's a blast. All right. With that out of the way,
I was just going to read off some of their locations. I know they said
Yeah.
Scarif, Tamerkins, because she asked the question. I want to go to
Yeah.
Spain where they filmed the outdoor portions of the Senate.
ooh, yes.
That building is awesome.
That
Yeah,
is.
was that the museum? I believe.
Is it?
I think so, and that was
Okay.
a really cool
some
building.
really cool architecture.
Oh my
Yeah.
god,
They
it's
picked some
amazing.
amazing places for
Yeah.
architecture.
Yeah, I would actually like to add. I want to go to the opening scene location of Rogue One, wherever the heck that is. Some Iceland. Or
Oh, that's
something.
like Iceland. Yeah, I think it is Iceland.
Yeah.
That was
isn't it?
beautiful.
I just want to stop by there for like a few minutes.
With like the black sand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah, I
it's
don't want to
so
like
cool
hang out
looking.
too long there, but like it looks really windy, and that wind drives me crazy
Yeah,
for obvious reasons.
I like how we find out so much of what Dan doesn't like on this show.
Wind.
I spend a lot of time outside, and I'm a
The wind is
landlubber.
your enemy.
So I tell you the places I don't want to go, and then
Yeah,
let's
that's-
narrow that down.
That's
and
how
then
we narrow things down.
Find out what that turns into.
You're the kind of person whenever you're picking dinner, you have to narrow down all the things you don't want.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, that makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, so we're gonna say
Naboo.
more. Yep.
Yeah, Naboo seemed to be another popular pick.
Yeah.
Or Italy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that would be a great one.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Naboo.
That would be
Italy.
so fun. And I've seen a lot of people reenacting the scenes with Anakin
Oh,
and
sure.
Padme
Mhm.
in that. It's rough.
That
it's
would be pretty
coarse.
cool. I don't know. Some of those, yeah, wherever is it all in Tunisia where they did all of the scenes in
The desert.
when he runs into Obi-Wan Kenobi with the sand people and
Some of that I think was filmed
In the desert.
in
and
Tunisia, but also in
California.
I would like to go
California.
visit, but people don't know where it is. That's the thing. There's
Oh.
it's like hidden
Mm.
locations. So I'd love to find out those locations
Interesting.
and go visit. And then yeah, any of the stuff from the originals, obviously Empire Strikes Back is
The
filmed
Death Star.
on Hoth. I actually want to visit the Death Star,
Right?
but
That would be pretty sweet.
it's still under construction.
Right.
Gosh.
The original Millennium Falcon. That would be so cool.
Yeah.
All right. Do we have some more questions?
We do, but why don't we save those for the next Q&A?
All
Next
right,
week.
we're gonna
Future
save them.
Q&A. Again, thanks for
Future
submitting
qua.
them all.
Yes, that is a great point. Yeah, but
Keep them coming.
yeah, keep them coming, guys. We will save those, and we will do another Q&A with you guys. They're a lot of fun, and we love to get your questions and answer them as much as possible. I
love
hate
that.
wind. It's turbulent, wild, and blows everywhere.
Class.
That's
true.
That's
True.
Dan
Very
Sands.
good.
Crazy,
Danica.
man.
Pinchers.
Maybe that's because today I was standing outside for like 3 hours and like 40-mile-an-hour winds. Maybe that's why.
It wasn't that windy today.
It felt like it.
You need a wind gauge.
Yeah.
It was 20-mile-an-hour sustained.
Oh.
He looked it up.
No, I felt it.
Oh,
His
I thought you were
pinchers
reading
are
that
that
off.
in tune now
Yeah.
to the wind.
that's his antenna.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
you're
my
right.
little
Also
antenna. Oh man.
That's awesome.
Oh, and Bismo, me and my parents were watching episode 4 of Andor. Pretty good to get this far with him on any show.
Yeah.
So far,
Oh, that's
so good.
awesome.
Although you are going into a bit of a slow
4,
part,
5, 6,
so
4, 5, 6.
I hope they can make it. If they can make it through 4, 5, and 6, then you're all clear. You're
But
Yeah.
in.
Dedra's coming in hot, and we're
That's
getting
true.
some.
I mean, there's still great dialogue. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like
oh,
pacing-wise,
Aldani.
it's
Aldani.
slower.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Well, Bismo said special request. Convince my parents they will like it.
Oh, we need what you want us to convince them right
Yeah,
now?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you're
You
gonna
will
like it.
it.
Because
Exactly.
remember it's a 3-episode arc, and because you can binge it, you have to watch it all in one night.
No. Just this is the argument here.
Oh,
Just wait till the end.
yeah. Wait
Okay.
till the
And I
end.
said it earlier.
Wait
all right.
till the
All the
end.
slow moments are going to pay off at the end. So
Yeah.
just wait till the end.
It is a pretty finale of that arc, though. It
Yes.
is the eye. That's
Yeah,
right.
just get to the eye. That's fair if you fall asleep.
Andor in general. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we are in danger of making people fall asleep right now. So we should get the gonk on out of here.
Yep.
Although we do have another stream coming up, and it's going to be a blast and a lot of fun. We'd love to see you guys. We've done it, people. Thank you. We'll be here. Also, I did a little last bit of news here. Our announcement: we will not be having War of the Cosmic Tyrants this Friday. But we will be back in 2 weeks' time from Friday, which the date of that is June 27th. We'll be back. War of the Cosmic Tyrants, June 27th. We have 8 episodes out now, so you can watch those or go back and re-listen to them. It's a good time. And we also have a special May the 4th one-off of D&D as well, which is a blast. I had so much fun with those. I want to bring back some of those characters.
I know.
But yeah, so it's just a small little thing there. We won't be live, but we'll be back next Wednesday, same time, same place. It's going to be a lot of fun. Always something to talk about in Star Wars with all of you gonkers out there. All right, well, let's get the gonk on out of here, and we will see you guys in the live stream, the members-only live stream right after this. If you're watching back later, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you all for being gonking awesome, and we'll catch you next time don't forget to always stay on target. What about the wind, Dan?
Just wait till the end, Dustin. Just wait till the end.